book, chapter 17, Liberation of King Jarasandha. Actually, King Jarasandha was very liberal in giving charity to Brahmanas. And thus he informed Lord Sri Krishna, Bhima, and Arjuna, quote, "My dear Brahmanas, you can ask from me whatever you like. If you so desire, you can take my head also. I'm prepared to give it." That's where we left yesterday. So that's actually wonderful prayer Jarasandha made. So after this, Lord Krishna addressed Jarasandha as follows, quote, "My dear king, please note that we are not actually Brahmanas, nor have we come to ask for foodstuff or grains. We are all Kshatriyas, and we have come to beg a duel with you. We hope that you will agree to this proposal. You may note that here is the second son of King Pandu, Bhimasena, and the third son of Pandu, Arjuna. As for myself, you may know that I am your old enemy, Krishna, the cousin of the Pandavas," unquote. So when Lord Krishna disclosed that disguise, King Jarasandha began to laugh very loudly. And then in great anger and in a grave voice, he exclaimed, quote, "You fools, if you want to fight with me, I immediately grant your request. But Krishna, I know that you are a coward. I refuse to fight with you because you become very confused when you face me in fighting." How the demoniac person changed in a moment. Huh? Out of fear of me, you left your own city, Mathura, and now you have taken shelter within the sea. Therefore, I must refuse to fight with you. As far as Arjuna is concerned, I know that he is younger than me and is not an equal fighter. I refuse to fight with him because he is not in any way an equal competitor. But as far as the Bhimsena is concerned, I think he is a suitable competitor to fight with me, unquote. After speaking in this way, King Jarasandha immediately handed a very heavy club to Bhimsena, and he himself took another, and thus all of them went outside the city walls to fight. Bhimsena and King Jarasandha engaged themselves in fighting, and with their respective clubs, which were as strong as thunderbolts, they began to strike one another very severely, both of them being eager to fight. They were both expert fighters with clubs, and their techniques of striking one another were so beautiful that they appeared to be two dramatic artists dancing on a stage. When the club of Jarasandha and Bhimsena loudly collided, they sounded like the impact of the big tusk of two fighting elephants, or like a thunderbolt in a flashing electrical stone. When two elephants fight together in a sugarcane field, each of them snatching a stick of sugarcane, and by catching it tightly in its trunk, strike the other one. Each elephant heavily struck his enemy's soldier, arm, collarbones, chest, thigh, waist, and leg, and in this way the stick of sugarcane are smashed. Similarly, all the clubs used by Jarasandha and Bhimsena were broken. And so the two enemies prepared to fight with their strong fisted hands. Both Jarasandha and Bhimsena were very angry, and they began to smash each other with their fists. The striking of their fists sounded like the striking of iron bar, or like the sound of thunderbolts. And they appeared to be like two elephants fighting. Unfortunately, however, neither was able to defeat the other because both were very expert in fighting. Both were of equal strength, and their fighting techniques were equal also. Neither Jarasandha nor Bhimsena became fatigued or defeated in the fighting, although they struck each other continually. At the end of a day's fighting, both lived at night as friends in Jarasandha's palace, and the next day they fought again. In this way, they passed 27 days in fighting, Haribol, more than the battle of Kurukshetra. On the 28th day, Bhimsena told Krishna, quote, "My dear Krishna, I must frankly admit that I cannot conquer Jarasandha," unquote. Lord Krishna, however, knew the mystery of the birth of Jarasandha. Jarasandha was born in two different parts from two different mothers. When his father saw that the baby was useless, he threw the two parts in the forest, where they were later found by a black-hearted witch named Jara. She managed to join the two parts of the baby from top to bottom. Knowing this, Lord Krishna therefore also knew how to kill him. He gave him hints to Bhimsena that since Jarasandha was brought to life by the joining of the two parts of his body, he could be killed by the separation of these two parts. Thus, Lord Krishna transferred his power into the body of Bhimsena and informed him of the device by which Jarasandha could be killed. Lord Krishna immediately picked up a twig from a tree and taking it in his hand, bifurcated it. In this way, he hinted to Bhimsena how Jarasandha should be killed by separating them into parts. Lord Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is omnipotent, and if he wants to kill someone, Haribol, no one can save that person. Similarly, if he wants to save someone, no one can kill him. This is the promise of Krishna. Informed by the hints of Lord Krishna, Bhimsena immediately took hold of the leg of Jarasandha and threw him to the ground. And when Jarasandha fell to the ground, Bhimsena immediately pressed one of Jarasandha's leg to the ground and took hold of the other leg with his two hands. Catching Jarasandha in this way, he tore his body in two, beginning from the anus up to the head. As an elephant breaks the branches of a tree in two, so Bhimasena separated the body of Jarasandha. The audience standing nearby saw that the body of Jarasandha was now divided into two halves, so that each half had one leg, one thigh, one testata, one breast, half a backbone, half a chest, one collarbone, one arm, one eye, one ear, and half a face. As soon as the news of Jarasandha's death was announced, all the citizens of Magda began to cry, quote, "Alas, alas," unquote, while Lord Krishna and Arjuna embraced Bhimasena to congratulate him. Although Jarasandha was killed, neither Krishna nor the two Pandavas' brothers made a claim to the throne. Their purpose in killing Jarasandha was to stop him from creating a disturbance against the proper discharge of world peace. A demon always creates disturbances, whereas a demigod always tries to keep peace in the world. The mission of Lord Krishna is to give protections to the righteous persons and to kill the demons who disturb a peaceful situation. Therefore, Lord Krishna immediately called for the son of Jarasandha, whose name was Sahadev, and with due ritualistic ceremonies, he asked him to occupy the seat of his father and reign over the kingdom peacefully. Lord Krishna is the master of the whole cosmic creation, and he wants everyone to live peacefully and execute Krishna consciousness. After installing Sahadev on the throne, he released all the kings and princes who had been imprisoned unnecessarily by Jarasandha. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport of the second volume, 17th chapter of Krishna, Liberation of King Jarasandha. Chapter 18, Lord Krishna returned to the city of Hastinapur. The kings and the princes released by Lord Krishna after the death of Jarasandha were rulers of different parts of the world. Jarasandha was so powerful in military strength that he had conquered all these princes and kings, numbering, now that's the exact number, 20,800. Before that we did only 20,000. Our literature is so perfect. They were all incarcerated within a mountain cave, especially constructed as a fort. And for a long time, they were kept in that situation. When they were released by the grace of Lord Sri Krishna, they all looked very unhappy. Their garments were niggardly and their faces were almost dried up for want of proper bodily care. They were very weak due to hunger, and their faces had lost all beauty and luster. Because of the king's long imprisonment, every part of their bodies had been slackened and invalid. But all the suffering in that miserable condition of life, they had the opportunity to think about the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vishnu. This is an important lesson. You know, the material situations will always keep on changing. Don't think that in the life the peaceful time will come where we able to concentrate fully on the holy name. Troubles will always keep on coming on our way as the waves of the ocean never stop. You just stand on the shore of the ocean and you will see continuously 24/7 for eternal time. Waves keep on coming. So same way in this material world, all these obstacle troubles always will come on our way. But we have to learn how to remain fixed in those situations. So now, before them, they saw the color of the transcendental body of Lord Sri Krishna, exactly like the hue of a newly arrived cloud in the sky. He appeared before them nicely covered by yellow-colored silken garment, with four hands like Vishnu, and carrying the different symbols of the club, conch-shell, disc, and the lotus flower. There were marks of golden lines on his chest, and the nipples of his breast appeared to be like the whorl of a lotus flower. His eyes, wonderful description of Krishna's. His eyes appeared to be spread like the petals of a lotus flower, and his smiling face exhibited the symbol of eternal peace and prosperity. His glittering earrings were set beautifully, and his helmet was bedecked with valuable jewels. The Lord's necklace of pearls and the bangles and bracelets nicely situated on his body, all sewn with a transcendental beauty. The Kaustubha jewel hanging on the chest glittered with great luster, and the Lord wore a beautiful flower garland. After so much distress, this is important, listen attentively. After so much distress, when the king and the princess saw Lord Krishna with his beautiful transcendental features, they looked upon him to their hearts, content as if they were drinking nectar through their eyes, licking his body with their tongues, smelling the aroma of his body with their noses, and embracing him with their arms. Just by dint of their being in front of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, all reactions to their sinful activity were washed away. So when we chant the holy name, Radha and Krishna is right in front of us. If we can become attentive, our sins can be eradicated very quickly. Therefore, without reservation, they surrendered themselves at the lotus feet of the Lord. It is stated in the Bhagavad Gita that unless one is free from all kind of sinful reactions, one cannot fully surrender unto the lotus feet of the Lord. So if he cannot surrender, it shows still some trace of reaction has left for us to pass through. All the princes who saw Lord Krishna forgot all their past tribulations. This is the beauty of Krishna association. no pain, no suffering. With folded hands and with great devotion, they began to offer prayer to Lord Sri Krishna as follows. Wonderful. Dear Lord, O Supreme Personality of Godhead, Master of all demigods, you can immediately remove all your devotees' pangs because your devotees are fully surrendered unto you. O dear Lord Sri Krishna, O eternal deity of transcendental bliss and knowledge, you are imperishable, and we offer our respectful obeisances unto your lotus feet. It is by your causeless mercy that we have been released from the imprisonment of Jarasandha. But now we pray unto you to release us from the imprisonment with the illusory energy of this material existence. They are asking to become free from the influence of Maya Devi. Please, therefore, stop our continuous cycle of birth and death. We now have sufficient experience of the miserable material condition of life, in which we are fully absorbed, and having tasted its bitterness, we have come to take shelter under your lotus feet. How much suffering need to be there before we will realize we need Krishna in our life? This example proves that it's very difficult to realize our situation. We are so puffed up by the external energy of Krishna, doesn't allow us to accept our insignificant conditions. We are proud of whatever little things we have, and that proud is keeping us away from Krishna. They continue to pray, dear Lord, O killer of the demon Madhu, we can now clearly see that Jarasandha was not at fault in the least. It is actually by your causeless mercy that we were bereft of our kingdoms, because we were very proud of calling ourselves rulers and kings. What a wonderful realization. And they are sharing with us. Any ruler or king who becomes too puffed up with the false prestige and power does not get the opportunity to understand his real constitutional position and eternal life. Such foolish so-called rulers and kings become falsely proud of their position under the influence of your illusory energy. They are just like a foolish person who consider a mirage in the desert to be reservoir of water. Foolish persons think that their material possessions will give them protection, and those who are engaged in sense gratifications falsely accept this material world as a place of eternal enjoyment. Haribo. O Lord, O Supreme Personality of Godhead, we must admit that before this we were puffed up with our material opulences. Haribo. We need to also make that prayer. Because we were all envious of each other and wanted to conquer one another, we all engage in fighting for supremacy, even at the cost of sacrificing the lives of many citizens. Unquote. Haribo. So this is the disease of the political power. As soon as a king or a nation becomes rich in material opulence or our household life, when it becomes rich in material opulences, it wants to dominate other nations or other family by aggression. This is, we have to be extremely careful how much we accumulate. This is the result of these accumulations. Similarly, mercantile men want to monopolize a certain type of business and control other mercantile groups, degraded by false prestige and infatuated by material opulences. Whole human society, instead of striving for Krishna consciousness, create havoc and disrupt peaceful living. Thus, men naturally forget the real purpose of life and to attain the favor of Lord Vishnu, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. King didn't stop here, they continued for the benefit of us. They are really sharing their realization. We need to come to that conclusion that there is no way there is anybody can protect us except Krishna. They continued, quote, "O Lord, we were simply engaged in the abominable task of killing citizens and alluring them to be unnecessarily killed, just to satisfy our political whims. We did not consider that your Lordship is always present before us in the form of cruel death. We were so fooled that we became the cause of death for others, forgetting our own impending death." We think that death is not going to come to us, whoever is living. Ahani, ahani, bhutani, that verse is so wonderful. We have seen by our own natural eyes our relatives, friends living this world, but who has not yet died, they feel they can stay here eternally. Haribo. But, dear Lord, the retaliation of the time element, which is your representative, is certainly insurmountable. The time element is so strong that no one can escape its influence. Therefore, in this material world, everything erodes, everything gets diminished and destroyed. Therefore, we have received the reaction of our atrocious activities, and we are now bereft of all opulences and stand before you like street beggars. We consider, I think we won't be able to finish this paragraph, but we will read until 6:55. We consider our position to be your causeless, unalloyed mercy upon us, because now we can understand that we were falsely plowed and that our material opulences could be withdrawn from us within a second by your will. By your causeless mercy only, we are now able to think of your lotus feet. That's wonderful realization. Only Krishna gave his mercy, we will be able to understand him. Otherwise, no way. This is our greatest gain. Dear Lord, it is known to everyone that the body is breeding ground of diseases. Haribo. Just a thin layer of skin on the body. We feel, I look beautiful. But we know how the body has been made with mucus, blood, urine, stool. bones. Haribo. Now we are sufficiently aged, and instead of being proud of our bodily strength, we are getting weaker day by day. Old age will approach. Brother and sister, we have to be prepared. Days are ahead of us. We are no longer interested in sense gratification or the false happiness derived through the material body. Haribo. By your grace, we have now come to the conclusion that hankering after such material happiness is just like searching for water in a desert mirage. Haribol, I think that's a wonderful realization. We should stop here. We should be punctual in our practices. Since I have not been sending the message, so many, but when I talk to them, I send them during the daytime some messages. I come to know that the devotees were traveling. They were from Sikhs and all other different situations. But that's not the excuse. If you go to some places, that doesn't mean we cannot chant and maintain our determination to associate with Krishna. What does it make a difference? We are living in Houston or we go to the new Taliban. It doesn't make any difference. Sun is rising always in the east to remind us to associate with Krishna. And only way we will be able to associate with Krishna is by chanting his name so attentively. And Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj has revealed the secret. See for yourself Sanatan Goswamis in which book I forgot the name of the book. Bhakti, Hari Bhakti Vilas, verse number 17, 129. Manaha Samharan Shaucham. If we have the purity, accordingly to that purity, we will be able to control our mind and senses. So I give that example today that when we chant the holy name, just Gaur Kishore Das Babaji has mentioned that focus constantly while you chant on the syllable of Mahamantra. So practice it and see how long, how many hours can you continuously see very attentively the syllable of Mahamantra and chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Will show us how long we have to go to purify our heart. That is simple test our Acharya has revealed. And we should be grateful. These are the message come through those divine personalities because they are so merciful to us. They are revealing all the keys for success. And we are traveling, so we cannot join. No matter wherever you are traveling, that doesn't make any difference. You finish your business of chanting. Chanting in the morning is the best time to chant. And if you miss that time, who can say that chanting in the afternoon and evening is better than early morning at 2 o'clock? Never be, never. And that's why our Acharya, even Krishna himself, get up 3 hours before the Brahmuhurta to set an example as a householder. So these are very prominent instructions, and I think unless and until we take it to our heart, are we waiting like a king to have so much suffering that we will see? Go to the hospital and visit. Every week you should go and visit the hospital, just walk around and see how the people are suffering. They cannot even pee. They have to ask the mercy to pee even. What to speak of other suffering. Horrible. And those days are ahead of us. Don't think that it's not gonna come to us. Everything we have to be prepared. Just constantly remembering Krishna through meditating on the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Imbibe that Hare Krishna Mahamantra in your heart. So when you close your eyes, at least you should be able to see Hare Krishna Mahamantra. And as long as Gaur Kishore Das Babaji has promised us that when you dwell very attentively on the syllable of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, you get direct vision of Krishna. And as long as you have Krishna with you, what is the suffering? Bodily suffering is nothing. You will enjoy the suffering. Relish it. Krishna, you are so kind. So I don't think that we have to wait until we get a lot of suffering. When the days are good, young age, I remember when we first moved to US, we neglected our children because we were after the money. Now also we have seen the people that they want to establish the good material life. They put their children when they are even 2 years old. What a terrible time has come. Just for the sake of more than comfortable life, we are ruining our obligations toward our own children. And then we expect that they will take care of us when we become old. Why they want to slow us? We neglected them. And they have all the right to neglect us when we will be in the need. And that's 100% right. This society is really, really somehow or other. We get the glimpse from our acharyas to straighten out our life. There is never a day will come where we feel I have enough and I need to become dedicated for my spiritual life. That day will never come. We will always be in need of something at all the time, up to the last moment